And beginning the broadcast, this year's weather hasn't made it easy for forage producers. Between the drought and the frost, Nebraska may see a forage shortage, which means more planning is in order.
The majority of Nebraska has already seen frost covering their fields. Nebraska Extension educator Troy Walz says nitrate levels may be something producers should watch out for.
So frost interferes with our normal plant growth, and it can cause nitrates to accumulate in plants that are still growing, especially grasses like oats, millet, sorghums, and Sudan grass. And if we have high nitrates present in these plants when they undergo a total killing freeze, that nitrate level will remain in those plants. So nitrates occur naturally in all forages. At low levels, nitrates may be excreted, or bacteria in the rumen can convert them into microbial protein. However, when we start getting high levels, they can sicken or kill a cow. So we have to be cautious at that point. And some plants are more likely to be high in nitrates than others are. These include cane, millets, oats, and also weeds such as pigweed, kochia, and lamb's quarters. And if we're grazing some droughty corn residue, even that corn residue in that corn stalks can be high in nitrates.
Troy recommends having the forage tested in the lab to make sure it's safe for consumption. Slowing down the intake rate can also make nitrate-heavy forage safer for cattle. In addition to nitrate concerns, the late summer drought could also be causing forage shortages across the state.
First thing is reduce forage demand for the upcoming fall and winter. So if you think you do not have enough feed or forage to get through the winter, maybe if you've pregnancy tested your yearling heifers and cows, and if you have some early shipping of calves, if you haven't shipped your calves off yet, or if you've backed around calves and do not sell until after the first of the year, maybe this is a time you might consider shipping those calves a little earlier. And like I said, if you've done some pregnancy testing, you can cull those non-pregnant heifers and cows, and that can help significantly reduce that forage demand that you have on your ranch. Second thing you can do is find and secure some other forage resources. Evaluate whether it may be best to bring the feed to the cattle or even the cattle to the feed. Corn residue for grazing is one way. If you can find some corn stalks to graze, that's a forage resource. Cover crops, if you can find some cover crops to graze, and these can be used to replace hay. And the other thing is when you have hay, minimize waste during feeding. So when feeding, research has shown that certain types of bale feeders, along with time limiting access of cattle to hay feeders, can reduce waste. And for cattle being fed in a dry lot, this can be helpful to efficiently utilize the hay or forage that you have. Another option for your cow herd is limit feeding those cows. Limit feeding is when the cows are fed a diet containing ingredients that are energy and protein dense, which meet the cow's nutrient requirements, but the cow is restricted on how much she can eat. Energy and protein dense feeds can be fed with low quality forage to help stretch limited supplies. And the last thing I will talk about is test your hay or your forage. If you know the nutrient content of your hay or forage, this will help you with ration formulation to ensure that you are meeting your cattle's nutrient requirements. And having an accurate analysis is important in developing a cost-effective feeding strategy on your ranch or farm.
Lastly, Troy says nutrient needs should be the priority.
I guess the one thing I just like to remind producers, if we have a bad winter, it gets cold, we get lots of snow, or if we have our corn residue gets iced over and cattle aren't even able to go out and graze to get to that forage, we need to make sure we're meeting the nutrient needs of our cow herd. Because if we do not meet the nutrient needs of our cow herd and they lose a lot of condition, we can have problems with calving in the spring.
Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Maddie McIntosh.